Hello and welcome to the Crafty Diamond. I am Debbie. Today is my weekly whip and chat, and if you are not familiar with what that is a work in progress. I'll be working on this diamond painting, and this is a square diamond painting. It's a 56 centimeter by 71 centimeter, so it is a really good size. This is from Ann Stokes. And I am really enjoying this diamond painting. I am doing it for the Stoked in September and for that event, and it is coming along really quickly, and it is called Crystal Ball, by the way. I am working on this sideways, and I am getting up to her sleeve. I'm almost at, let's see if I can turn this a little bit. It's going to be kind of dark, so this is a dark painting. But I am getting close to the top part here to start working inside the crystal ball. That will be my next row. I'm actually about where this blue is on the crystal ball here, but today I'm working over on the side, so it's mainly going to be black. And I think that I'm not going to get this finished for September, but more than likely, I'm going to have this finished by the end of October. That's the plan anyway. I am using this pen today from BFF Diamond Painting, and this is one of my favorite pens. It just feels great. It's thin. I like it because it says do not cross. It was for an event years ago, and I think it was a limited edition. But I really do like this pen and thought this would be one of those pens that would be fun to use for this type of canvas. I am using an Add More Zest tray because my diamond painting is so dark. I want to use a light tray for all these dark drills. I'm also using some putty from Black Dahlia Diamond Art. It's the first time I have used their putty. This is from the fall collection. It is called Cozy Flannel, and it smells really good. So far, I've liked that. I'm also using a cover minder, and it says Crafty Diamond on it. This was from Bella Art Diamonds, and I just wanted this because it has my channel name on there. And I guess that's about it. I am using a half moonlight today. It may cause a little bit of a glare on the painting. It's actually causing a glare for me right now, so I'm going to have to adjust it just a little bit. Maybe I need to turn it down some. That makes it worse. I may need to get my light pad out if it continues. Where I have it, where I'm working on, it is causing a terrible glare. That's a little better. I may need to just rearrange a little bit. Let's see. That will work some if I single place, which is fine. I am working on the number 8 symbol. I started working on this a little bit this morning, so I already had my drills poured into my tray. And then I thought I better go ahead and get working on my whip and chat to make sure that it gets out on time. And normally on my whip and chats, or really on my videos, I have been trying really hard lately to be more present in my videos, meaning that at the beginning, the intro, I've been trying to like show my face and just talk to you guys for a few minutes and then get started. But I think, unfortunately, that I may be getting a sinus infection, and I've had a absolute horrible headache since yesterday, which was on Monday. I do like to film this either on Sundays or Mondays, and then it goes up on Tuesdays. But on Sunday, I just wasn't feeling it. I started feeling kind of ick on Sunday, and I just kind of did a few things around the house, and then I also diamond painted quite a bit on Sunday, but just diamond painted, and then whenever I got tired of diamond painting, I would kind of straighten up my craft room some, still trying to get it in an order that I am going to like and that's going to work for me. And then I just did not feel like it. I just started feeling kind of like body aches, but not just horrible. And so I attributed it at first to the weather because I am really sensitive when it rains. But apparently that's not it. And then I woke up on Monday and my head was just pounding. And during the day, it did tend to get worse. And I have this weird birthmark on above my eyes, both of my eyes, my eyelid all the way up. And whenever I get extremely upset, tired, or I start to feel bad, this birthmark comes out in full force. I've had this obviously since I was born. I thought it would go away. It has not. Both my kids have it. They don't have it nearly as bad as I do. Paige has more of a prominent birthmark than Madison, but it looks like I have been hit. I mean, it's like socked right in the eye, almost like I have a black eye because it gets so bright and my vein pops out and it's just kind of embarrassing. So anyway, it wasn't horrible this morning, but it was bad enough for me to say, I am not going to do this today. But I wanted to get my video out. I don't like to miss whipping chats. So I thought I would just go ahead and do it this way. And I figured you guys would understand. And another thing is that I wanted to go ahead and get this out if I possibly could. I did not want to have to wait to get makeup on, all that good stuff, and just decided I'm just going to go ahead and do a video and it will be fine. So hopefully I am just feeling a little tired, and I'm hoping that this is just a headache because of the weather change. Paige is also starting to get sick, which that doesn't surprise me. She does every time this year, around this time of year. So I'm hoping that it's just going to be something that's not going to linger with me. I cannot get sick right now because of Madison, and she is getting so close to her due date. Next week is her final ultrasound, and I can't get sick. I cannot, because I can't be around her, obviously, if I am not feeling well, and I can't go to the ultrasound, which I would be so disappointed. And so I am just doing everything that I can, trying my best to be okay. Paige is just feeling a little down because of the weather change, but she is not in any way contagious or anything. So, but I've been keeping her in her room away from me in case she is starting to get sick, and then I don't want her to possibly give her germs to Madison. So anyway, that is what's going on here. And, hello, the season change. And I love the fall. I am not complaining about that with the weather changing, but our weather goes from really, really cold to extremely hot. And yesterday I had gotten out with Madison before my head really started hurting really bad, and went with her to get her tag for the car. And I think just getting out, and it was just so hot and humid yesterday, that just kind of made my headache worse. I think that's kind of what caused me to feel so bad, and for my lovely birthmark to just break out. And I'm hoping that's what it is. This morning it is extremely cool. So it just goes from just crazy hot weather to just really nice, perfect fall weather. And that just doesn't do very well with my old body, I guess. So anyway, let me know how you guys are doing. Hope everybody is doing well. Hope that you had an amazing weekend and you didn't have to do very much. My weekend was so nice, but now I feel kind of guilty because I go into our bedroom, our bathroom, I'm like, oh, I should have cleaned this weekend. I should have at least done a straighten up a little bit, because having a smaller house, which I haven't had in a very, very long time, it gets, if you don't keep up with it, it does tend to get a little messy. Just need to like do a little refresh and just put some things up. I am trying to keep the house tidied every day and just not leave things out, except for my craft room. That's a different story. My craft room is messy just because I really still have some things I do need to put up. I just haven't done it yet from our move, but it is looking so much better. And my husband went to Goodwill, which is a donation in the U.S., donation site. And so he donated a bunch of clothes and different things that I have been putting together in a box since we've moved here. And we've already had like donation 2 or 3 times that he's gone. So he went on Saturday and got rid of a bunch of stuff in the garage, and it opened up more space in the garage. But then he went to the storage facility. He has 2 units. Went to the smallest one, brought a lot of his things here. So now the garage is in a mess again. But he has a plan, so he says, but it's not my stuff, so I don't care. And the garage is the garage. It's going to be messy until he decides on getting a building or what he's planning on doing. But I'm just worried about my things. I want to get everything of mine done. I still have 3 boxes left in the garage, and I've got 1 small box in my craft room that I need to go ahead and unbox. And I thought, if I haven't done this long, I probably don't need all of this. I know 1 box is an office box. It just has some things I need to file and to go through and put into my filing cabinet. So that's going to take some time, but I know where everything is going to go. It's going to go in the filing cabinet. So that's at least a plus. And hopefully I can start working on getting all my diamond paintings organized. I want this done before the end of the year, and hello, almost October. So I've got to really start thinking about some of this stuff if I really want to get more done this year. And I really do. I don't want to go into the new year thinking I still haven't gotten my diamond paintings done. I'm still not moved in fully. But I have almost the whole month of November, or December rather, I'm going to be off work. So that will be super nice. I am definitely looking forward to that. But then we also have the baby, and we're going to be busy with her. And then Christmas, and that's going to look different this year since we'll have the baby. And she already has a bunch of clothes. Madison told me yesterday that the baby does not need any clothes for a while. I know that Kyle's mom sent Madison a box load of clothes, is what she was telling me. I don't know what size or anything. So his mom is getting really excited too. It's her first grandchild, and she is really excited. She wasn't sure if she was ever going to have a grandchild, and so she is just over the moon, just like us. And she sent Madison a diaper pail that they wanted, and she sent it to my house. I'm like, okay, my husband started in, you have another Amazon. And I'm like, I didn't order anything from Amazon. And usually Paige tells me when she orders something. She's been doing a lot of organizing in her room. And so I went and I said, Amazon is here. Did you order anything? And she said, yeah, but mine's not going to come in until next week because I pre-ordered a new book that is not going to come out till next week. So I'm like, well, I don't know, but they're coming up to our door. And so I looked, my husband brought it in. He's like, what is this big thing? And I looked at it, and I'm like, oh, it's for Maddie. And I didn't know who it was from. So I called her and I said, I've got something here for you. And it's from Amazon, but I have no idea where it came from. And so she realized that when I told her, I said, it says that it's a diaper pail. And so she's like, oh yeah, that's from Kyle's mom. So I gave that to her yesterday. We got her a bassinet. And she's told me what she wanted. I said, just send me the link and we'll order it for you. Or, you can order it and I'll give you the money or, whatever. So she sent me the link. The bassinet came in. I didn't open it, obviously, because it's for her. But I told her, I said, I don't think this is what you were exactly thinking that this is going to be. And whenever you open it, just look at it. If you don't want it, it's not what you thought you were getting, or you just don't like it, then I can send it back and we can order another one. We need to do it soon. So she was going to have Kyle bring it in from her car. She can't lift anything. And to bring it in from her car and then to open it, look at it, and see if that's what they wanted. And if not, then we'll get something else. I did get some sheets for it. I only got, took out 2 sets of sheets, like the bottom. Obviously, you can't have a sheet, but, so I told her, I said, look at that, see if those 2 fit. If they do, I will go ahead and order some more, but I wanted to make sure that it does fit. It says it's going to. Want to make sure you do like that bassinet, and then if you do, then I'll get you some more sheets. If you don't, then we can return those sheets if they're not going to fit whatever we decide to get. So we're doing that, and then I am going to order a couple more things. I'm getting her a couple boxes of diapers. So we're getting ready. And she has not sent out thank you notes. I have had a few people that sent me a private message and asked me if she had a link to a wish list. And so I did send that out. So she is sending out thank you notes, but she is really behind. Honestly, she hasn't even sent out thank you notes for the wedding. She's told everybody thank you. She's emailed thank yous. I'm like, that's not the same. And she knows it's not, but she's just been so crazy busy with the move. And then she's been so tired with the baby. And now she's had a really good month. Really good, like the past, even 3 months for pregnancy. So she's feeling really good, but the baby, I think, is getting restless. She's been kicking a lot, especially at night. But she hasn't had any issues, and Madison is really showing. You can tell she's pregnant now, but she's so small anyway that she is not even as large as most people, that I've seen. She's not as large as I was when I had both of them. And I was as small as Madison when I had her. But she's all baby. I'm really excited about next week's ultrasound. It's not going to be until the middle of the week. So I will have my next Whip and Chat out before then. But I can tell you guys the following week how it went and how everything is going. I've already told work, just, want to let you know, I will go ahead and I'll volunteer for some things that we're having at work. But if Madison goes into labor, then, don't expect me to be there. I can volunteer now. I will agree, to anything, but you know, you might want to have another plan to cover for me, just in case I can't be there. So we're doing that at work, and then also my classes, I am trying to get ahead of schedule, so that way there won't be any issues there. So it's getting closer. October is going to be a fabulous month. I am kind of secretly hoping that she'll be born on Halloween. Sorry, Maddie, I really am. My daughter actually listens to my videos. I didn't think she did, but she told me she did. And things that she said, I'm like, oh, yep, you do. But I think a Halloween baby would be kind of cool. Now, baby C, when she gets older, she may not appreciate being a Halloween baby, but I think she will. I think it'd be kind of cool to say that your birthday's on Halloween. I don't know. But, and not that we observe Halloween or anything. We don't really do anything with Halloween. But I just think it'd be cool to be born at the end of October. Even November is good. The 1st of November would be really cool too. So we'll see, but I will keep everybody posted on how it's going. We are super excited. Paige is getting nervous. I'm like, well, why are you getting nervous? And she made a comment. She said, I've never been an aunt before. And I said, well, yeah, you got a point. You've never been an aunt before, but you have played with a lot of kids when they were little, not this young. She's never been around a baby. So I've been trying to tell her some things. You have to be really careful. You have to be really quiet around her, and we have to really watch her. So I think she's going to be fine, but she is rather nervous, and she said, I'm going to have to get Maddie to help me because I want to hold baby C. And I said, I can help you. You're going to be able to hold baby C. As long as you're not sick or anything, you'll be able to hold baby C. And you're going to be the best auntie ever, trying to really beef her up. That was my dog. Yep, she is doing her little moans today. She's exhausted. Don't know why, but she's just tired. So anyway, I had to let you know that disclaimer. That is my dog that makes these weird moans. Like, you know, she just is so busy, and she's just so tired. She just can't hardly keep her eyes open, which that part is true. But anyway, Paige is just a little bit nervous, but I think she will be fine. And I keep telling her, you know, yeah, you're going to be the best auntie ever. And what's baby C going to call you? And so we're getting all that kind of down. My husband's getting excited. And he said, I'm even excited for a baby that's not, you know, it's not mine. It is not any type of, you know, family. He said, but I am really getting excited for baby C. And he doesn't have any children, but he feels like my kids are also his kids. So at first he said, this doesn't, you know, she's not having, baby C won't have anything to do with me because I'm not family and I'm not anything to her. And I'm like, she's not going to know the difference. She's not going to know that you're not her grandfather. And when she does find out, she's going to feel like you are her grandfather, just like I'm her grandmother and I am her grandmother. And I told him, I said, my kids loved my stepmother just as if that was their biological grandmother. And they called her Granny, and they treated her just like she was their grandmother, because she was. And my stepmother was around way longer than the kids before they were born. So they treated her just like that was their grandmother, and it was. And she actually was more of a grandmother than their dad's mom, who is their biological grandmother. So I said, it doesn't matter. Blood isn't everything to be family. And so that kind of made him feel better. And he's like, yeah, I saw that, how, Patty loved her grandchildren just as if that was her grandchildren. She didn't treat them as if they weren't. And my kids love their Happy, which was my dad. They loved him just as much as they loved her. And so I told my husband, I'm like, it's going to be okay. You're going to be a wonderful grandfather. And kids just flock to him. I don't know why, but they just flock to him. When we are at dinner, they will stare at him, they'll smile, and he waves and plays with them. And so I think he's going to be just fine. So it's going to be quite interesting. It definitely is going to be a change for the entire family. And I don't know my ex-husband's mom. That will be the baby's great-grandmother. And she is the only great-grandparent that is still alive. So I don't know if she will have anything to do with the baby or not. She is now in an assisted living home, but she didn't have much to do with our kids. So I don't know. I'm not sure. His family just didn't have much to do with the kids. They are the only kids in my ex-husband's family. And there was just a lot of things there. They're just not good with children. And as they got older, they didn't really know them because they hadn't been around them that much. So, I don't know. It's going to be quite interesting to see how they're going to treat baby C. And I don't care because she will be treated as royalty in our house. Paige says that the baby already has us wrapped around her finger and she's not even born yet. I'm like, yeah, you pretty much were right. Because now every time that we're going somewhere and Paige buys something for herself, she's like, oh, can't leave baby C out. And she has to get some little something, whether it's a rattle or just something that she's putting up for. So I think that is just the sweetest ever. She's already talking about starting her Christmas list of what she wants to buy everybody. And baby C is at the top of the list and she wants to buy all these things. And then she said, well, when she gets older, I'm going to get her a Barbie car. And she was just going on and on. She's going to like all this motorized things. And I'm like, well, you're talking some money there, dear. So, but Paige says that she knows she will never have kids. She knows she will never be able to have children. More than likely, she will never get married. She doesn't want to. And she is going to treat baby C like she's hers, I guess, because of that. So I think that's really sweet. I think she's going to be really good with her. But that's really what's been going on mainly, is that we are just getting ready for baby watch. And my husband's already talking about, well, we're going to have to start house proofing for babies, child proof. And I'm like, I don't think we have to do that right this instant. And he said, no, but it takes me a while to get things done around here. Yep, you got a point there. So our house will be baby proof way before it needs to, I'm sure. But I thought that was really sweet of my husband. And then we always go, every year as a family, we go and we have our picture made with Santa. My kids have been doing this since they were born. We've only missed a very few times that we did not see Santa. I can pretty much count on one hand the times that we have not gone. And my youngest is 24. So the oldest is 27. So we've been going a long time. And we have all these pictures of Santa throughout the years as family. So this year, Paige wants to take baby C, and she wants us all to have a family photo and a family outing going and seeing Santa. So I thought that was really sweet of her that she would want to have her Santa time and include that with baby C, because Paige's mentality, in some ways it is high, in some ways it is low. She halfway believes in Santa, but I told her last year, because I thought, you are old enough to know that Santa, is a very, very sweet man, and, the whole thing. So I had to tell her, and then she's like, oh, so what you're telling me is that Santa doesn't, he doesn't come to adults, and now I'm an adult, so therefore I'm not getting Santa gifts. And I'm like, okay, that's not exactly what I was saying, but that works. So, but I told her, I said, Santa doesn't give you Santa gifts anymore. You're getting gifts from us. And I said, yeah, that's what you think. Okay. So that's how I left it. And now she wants to share her Santa time with baby C. I thought, oh, that's adorable. And I'm hoping that we can make that happen and have her first Christmas with the big guy. And we need to get stocking. Paige has been looking on Etsy. She wants to get her a very special stocking for our house, because Santa, she's going to tell Santa he has to come here, and he also has to go to her house. I'm like, okay, I'm not sure how this is going to work out, but somehow I always come up with something, and sometimes my explanation sounds really stupid, very, very goofy, but it always works. Just like the elves. We have one elf on a shelf, and then we have two other elves that I purchased from a really cute shop, which is no longer around, unfortunately. It was Parsons, that was in a small town called Cumming in Georgia, and they have been gone for years and years. But they had these special little elves that came out way before Elf on a Shelf. And these, you had to crush crackers to get them to stay, and all this weird stuff. And I think Paige still believes in our elves, and so we have to bring them out on December the 1st. And then they do crazy little things. Now we have a reindeer and something else that somehow we've come in contact with. So she wants to make sure that baby C, when she gets older, she doesn't touch our elves, because you can't touch the elves, just like you can't touch the elf on the shelf. And I told Maddie, I said, you know what? If I were you, I would never start this elf crazy thing, because ours has lasted for years and years and years. I think Paige was like, I don't know, 6, 7. She was really small when we started all of this. And I'm like, man, I've been doing this for years and years, and the elves can only do so much. And moving them around, and at least we've moved a few times, so I've been able to put them in different weird spots. But anyway, I said I wouldn't start the Elf on a Shelf thing for nothing. Just tell them that, when she gets old enough, about the elves, and ask how come they don't have elves, just say, your Mimi has elves, that's good enough. I would just leave it alone. But anyway, if you guys have grandkids or smaller kids, do you do the Elf on the Shelf thing? It sounded really cute back in the day when the kids were little. And now it's like, oh, I forget about them and I forget to move them. Sometimes I forget to hide them. So, but I thought this won't last too terribly long. And here we are. And even, of course, Madison knows that the elves aren't real or anything. But even Madison likes to come over at Christmas when she was living in the area, and she likes to see, where'd you put them today? What have you done with them now? I'm like, oh, I'm so tired of having to be the one to manipulate these elves. But I'm so glad that Madison's home. It is so nice to have my kids close by. And I mean, she is so close and it's easy. It's so easy. I can go the back way to her house. Don't have to get on the highway. My husband thinks it's quicker, but I don't, because there's so many traffic lights. And the one light where there's one road right before ours where you have to make a left. There's not a light there, and it's on a highway. It is almost impossible on some days to make a left there. So I prefer just to take the highway, even if it might take me a little bit longer. It's easier to get back home. But anyway, it still doesn't take very long to get to Madison's, which is a good thing because her husband is working nights. And I've already told Madison, I said, we got you covered. If Kyle is at work and you need me, just call me. Normally I turn my phone on silent because I used to have a lot of calls in the middle of the night with students. I've nipped that in the bud a few years ago. That finally stopped. And I don't have to keep my phone on silent anymore because of that. And I said, if you need me, to call. So she knows that, and that way she can call me and I can go to her place. If it gets to the point where I need to spend the night over there, I can do that too, with him working nights. And then he'll be there all day when I'm not home during the day, so that kind of works out well too. So we are ready. We had a scare this past week, or at least Paige and I did. I live in the mountains. I live very close to a river. You can't see the river from our house. Sometimes you can hear it, but we have a lot of trees. It looks like a forest behind our house, and it pretty much is. It is owned by the Corps of Engineers, so nobody can build back behind there, so we don't have to worry about it, and it's hard getting back there. My husband wants to make a trail so he can go to the river. I don't care anything about it. I hate to even think about what is back in our yard behind there. So I forgot what day it was. It was one day this past week, and I was on the deck. We had just finished dinner. Molly, our collie, was outside. She was running around, still chasing birds. It wasn't dark yet. And chasing birds and looking at squirrels and just, having her fun that she does at the end of the day. Well, she started barking, and she started barking really crazy, and she never barks like that when my husband's home. She'll do that if she sees something in our yard, sees somebody walking down the street, the wind blows, maybe not even anything. She'll just look outside and bark. So I kind of ignored it, and then I told her to be quiet, and then her bark kept getting more and more aggressive, and I thought, something's not right. So I got up, I was looking down from our deck into the backyard, and I noticed something, and my husband came up right at the time that I was looking, and I said, I was about to come and get you. I said, what is that? And he looked and he said, yeah, I saw it from the window, and I was about to come and ask you if you knew what it was. And I said, it looks kind of like a leaf, but it it looks funny. And then all of a sudden I'm like, oh, that's moving. And my husband looked and he said, yeah, that is moving. And I said, I see something that I don't want to see, that I think that might be something that I am terrified of. And he said, I think so too. And then I couldn't even say the word. And then my next comment was, do you think it's poisonous? And Molly was in the backyard. And she kept rushing up to it, and she kept backing up and barking and making all kinds of weird noises and stuff. And she's a border collie, and that's what they do. They herd. And she was trying to find out what this is in her yard. She knew that it wasn't supposed to be there. So my husband goes down into the yard. And so I told him, I said, you might want to get a rake or a shovel or something and bring the dog in while you are in the process. I wasn't about to go down there because I am terrified of what this is. I hate to say the words. I don't want to like get anybody nervous or anything, but you can kind of figure out what it is. Starts with the letter S. And it does have its own little house at the zoo. It is in the reptile house. And now I'm getting chills just saying that because I am terrified of these things. I don't care if it is a big one, a little one. I don't care if it's poisonous, non-poisonous. I am absolutely terrified. And again, I am getting chills right now talking about this. So anyway, my husband goes out there and yep, it was curled up in some leaves, and it was actually scared because I think Molly may have hurt it or scared it or something. I think she actually tried to bite it. I don't know. That's what my husband was saying. I didn't see any of that, thank goodness, but it was non-poisonous. He thinks it was a racer. I said, I don't care what it is. I don't want it in my yard. So he goes and gets it. And Paige was coming out at that time. I said, go in the house. Because she is even worse than I am. I'm looking for another color. She is even worse than I am. And so I told her, you need to go in the house. You don't need to see this. And she said, what about Molly? And I said, Molly is fine. She's not in the way. And I think that Molly was really brave. She was trying to do something with it or whatever. So he goes, he gets a shovel, and he has to basically unearth it, and he threw it way across our fence, which is in the forest, which we call the jungle sometimes because it does look rough down there. So he put it out there, and hopefully we don't see it again. And so we kept telling Molly, good girl, you did really well. And so Molly was wagging her tail. She was so happy. But that's just what collies do. And she's done this before. But it also scares me too because I don't think we have any poisonous snakes that's close to our house. But again, we have a lake or a river. And it is not a man-made river. It is a natural river. So I don't know, but I told my husband, I won't go. There's no way I'll go down there past outside of our fence. And I didn't even think it would go get in our yard because of the dog. But it's the first one we've seen. Hopefully we won't see any more. But she's fine. We're fine. Everybody's fine. Hopefully the snake is fine. Ooh. Hopefully. I said the word. I'm so sorry. Anyway, hopefully the thing is fine. But anyway, that's what I get for living in the mountains and living by a river. So let's go to something else because I don't want to talk about this anymore. Another thing that happened, and I'm really, really shocked about this, is that now I took Molly, before I say what happened, I have to give you a story first. I took Molly on Saturday to the vets, and I have mentioned to you guys, if you've been around for a little bit, you've already heard this probably time and time again, that her anxiety is just horrible. And I've been really worried about her. Some days she'll eat, other times she'll go 2 and 3 days without eating, and then she'll eat a little bit, or she'll just eat an entire bowl like she's starving because she just is not hungry. We don't give her table food, so I can't say that anything like table food would make her want to eat her food more or whatever. And she barks a lot. She shakes often if she gets really nervous, especially like with bad storms and with fireworks. She just goes crazy. I mean, she just starts shaking where her teeth are actually rattling. That's something that's new this year. She has not done that before. So when I took her to the vet, they asked me, what concerns did I have? And so I told them, and they said, yeah, we've mentioned this, you mentioned this before, and we were hoping that she would get better. And we thought that all of this occurred because of our Zoe, when she passed away, that Molly just became really upset, but it's not. It's gotten worse. And so they decided they're putting her on 2 different types of medication. One is going to be one that she takes every day, and the other one is going to be where we give it to her when we know that there's going to be an instance where she could possibly have some problems. And so, such as when we know that, we're digging in a storm, or we know there's going to be fireworks, or there's going to be a lot of noise, or, whatever the case may be. We have some new people coming over. So they said that would make her a little sleepy, and you only give her that if we really, need to. So I'm not going to give her that. Hopefully I don't have to for a while. But I did start giving her the daily medication, and it hasn't helped with her barking yet, but she just started taking it. And they said it might be a couple of weeks before you really see a difference. But this morning, she and Abby, our cat, were next to each other, which that happens often, but Molly doesn't get very close to her. She's scared of her. And Molly weighs 37 pounds, I think it was, and Abby is like 7 pounds. But Molly is scared of her, and she's never really hurt her or anything. I don't know what the deal is. She does get her not her claws, but she'll get her paws out, and she likes to pop Molly. But she does that with us too, tries to wrap her claws or her paws around our legs or ankles, but she never ever gets her claws out or anything, so it's not like that she's hurt her. But this morning, they were next to each other, and Molly goes and starts to clean Abby's head. And I thought, this is something new. I don't know. This might be bad. This may be a problem. So I just sat there, and I was holding my breath, and Abby sat there and let her do it, and Abby was purring. So I'm like, oh, she's giving you a little bath, and you're okay with it. And then Abby walked off. Molly went over and got in her bed, and life was good again. So I don't know if that is a sign that maybe they're going to start being friends, and it would be so nice for both of them if they could be buddies, because I think that Abby would really benefit from having a buddy. She's used to having kittens around when she was at the foster families, and then also when she was in the little Catitude in the shelter. And she's never been around a dog, but it took a little bit to where she's not hissing every time that she walks past her. But I'm hoping that is a good sign to come, and maybe that will also help Molly with her high anxiety. And collies are a different breed. They tend to have some anxiety issues, And they are, as I mentioned, working dogs. If they're not working and they're just kind of stagnant, that can also make them really nervous because they don't know what to do. And when she starts to get in this in a specific way, I can tell. And so I'll put her outside and I'll play with her, and she'll try to run, and that does tend to help her. But I'm going to also start taking her to a weekly little social get-together that they have at a pet hotel that is close to our house. It is doggy daycare, but they call it a social hour. And so you can bring them for 2 to 4 hours, and they do things with them more than just have them just out interacting with other dogs. They will play with them too quite a bit, and then they will do games and different things, and they'll have certain dogs together playing these little games and stuff. She's done it before, and once she figured out what was going on, she liked it. So I think I'm going to start doing that too, but I just want to get her anxiety under control before I take her to a place like that and make her anxiety worse. But I think that hopefully this is going to help. And I took her to the vet that I have been going to now for 15 years. And, they've had their veterinarians come and go, but the ladies up front have pretty much been there for years and years. And it's further away because it's where we used to live. But my husband said, well, where are you going to take her? Have you decided you're going to a new place? And I said, you know what? I am taking her back to where we've taken all of our other animals, because I have kind of ventured off to a couple of other animal clinics when they couldn't get me in, and I wasn't really crazy about them. And then whenever I went to another one with Salem, I was not happy at all. I felt like I was a guest, and of course I was just she was just a patient. But when I go into this vet, I feel like I'm home. They saw me and they're like, well, hello there. And I see Molly, and how is she doing? And we don't have to go but once a year because Molly doesn't have any problems. But she has lost some weight. She loses weight every year. And so I got away with it last year. They said, well, let's just wait. We're just going to monitor and see what happens. But if it has dropped again, then for the next year, which is this year, then we're going to need to see what's going on. So I'm like, okay, that sounds good. I'll go for that. So what I'm having to do, because she has lost another 3 pounds, which to me, I don't think 3 pounds is that bad in 1 year, but I'm not a vet. I don't know. But they said that you can feel her spine and her rib cage, and they said that's not good, especially for as large of a dog that she is. And I said, yeah, I have been feeling that lately, and that was a concern that I also had on my list. So they want me to come back in 2 months. She gave me some suggestions. She said also, when dogs are anxious, they're not going to want to eat as much. And so I agreed with that too. And so she told me some things, and then she said, well, what you're giving her food-wise is good. And, it's high quality, so don't change her food, especially if she likes it. And she's never had, human food. So she told me, if you want to make her some chicken and rice, that would work. Don't make a lot. She didn't want her to get used to having people food and not her own. And she's like, I could sprinkle it in there. And she said, you could even sprinkle some cheese into her food, or some beef broth, or not beef, chicken broth. And she said, if you want to put a little bit of pumpkin in there, but don't put very much because that could upset her stomach. And then I told her, I said, well, she really does like the cat food. And I said I didn't think that would be a good idea, so I have to keep the cat food, I keep it up on a table in our bedroom. And so that way Molly can't get up there and eat the cat food. And so the vet told me, she's like, it's not bad for a dog to eat cat food, but it's not the greatest for a cat to eat dog food. And she said, most cats won't touch dog food. And I said, well, ours won't. She went over there, she sniffed at it, she made a weird, almost a growling noise for a cat, and she's never touched it. So I don't have to worry about that. But she said, if you want to, you can even sprinkle a little bit of the cat food into Molly's bowl in the evenings and see if she'll eat that way. And so I did that, and she ate some. She ate quite a bit, actually. And she doesn't eat during the day. But I leave her food out. I let her free graze, is what they call it. And because I don't ever know, if she's going to eat. She doesn't overeat, obviously. So I just leave her food out, let her eat whenever she wants to. Because if not, she may not ever eat. And this morning, she actually got up. Oh, I had two that popped out. She actually got up and she ate some of her food that she didn't finish last night. So I was really pleased with that. So hopefully when I take her back in 2 months, I'm not going to have to do a bunch of blood work and stuff, because I hate to put her through that. It's also very expensive, but if I need to do it, we'll do it. We spend an absolute fortune at the vet. Our vet's a little more expensive anyway, I think. But I told my husband I thought he would have a fit. I was dreading telling him. But I told him, I'm like, well, I spent quite a bit at the vet. Just wanted to let you know. And I told him how much. And he's like, what in the world for? And so when I told him that she had to have her annual trio, the flea, tick, and for the heartworms, I said, I got that for the year, and that's very pricey. And then, well, actually, I got it for only 6 months, and it's still pricey. So did that, and then I also had to get the medication, which I got 60-day supply for the one, and then the other one, she just gave me, I think it's 30 days. I'm not sure how much is in there, but that is a refill if I need it. And they want to see how much I'm going to have to give her of the other. So we'll see. But I think that this daily medication, I think it's making her sleepy. And I'm not going to have her to where she is a zombie. I don't want to do that. She said now for the first 2 weeks, it may look like that she's just staring into space. But she gave her the lowest that she could possibly give her. And I've been giving her peanut butter. I've just been putting peanut butter on the capsule, and she's been taking it no problem. So at least she's getting a little bit too of protein with the peanut butter. And I told him what kind. She said that was fine. Peanut butter is fine for dogs. So she does have a birthday coming up too. Her birthday is on Wednesday. So happy 5th birthday to my Molly. And we bought her some doggy ice cream for her birthday. She loves it. She's had it before. It comes in this cup, and it's like bacon and something. But it's frozen. And when I left the vet, and she was so good at the vet. They love her, because you just don't see collies anymore. And everybody loves collies. So after we left, I said, you have been such a good girl, and we're on, and you had all of this. You had your shots, and you were so good, and we are going to go and get you a surprise. And so as soon as I pulled into Starbucks, she was getting all excited. I'm like, I don't know why you're getting excited, because you've never had a pup cup before. Well, from Starbucks, she's never had a pup cup. And so I got her a pup cup, and I mean, at first she was unsure because it was so cold, but then she started eating her little pup cup, drinking it, licking it, whatever, and she was so happy. And then she loves to ride, and she's a really good little rider. So she settled down, and we rode home, and then took her out. She played for a little bit, and then she slept almost all afternoon. But those shots always do it to her. And then she always gets really sleepy when we drive. And she won't go to sleep in the car. She likes to be alert, but she's so sleepy. She was trying her best not to close her eyes and fall asleep in the car. And so as soon as we got home, she did her thing, and she took her a very long nap. So hopefully she won't be barking as much. And right now she's sound asleep. So that's a good thing, because a lot of times in my videos, she is very noisy. Let's see. Other than Paige starting to get sick, everybody's doing well. I hope that we can nix this really quick. And like the other doctor said that she went to last time, that this very well could be triggered by the weather changing. And I'm going to take her next time that we go. She has a doctor's appointment not until November to check on her thyroid. We were supposed to go this past week. We did go. And then they said, oh, we're so sorry, but they scheduled your appointment way too early. Well, I didn't know when we were supposed to go. They said, here's an appointment. Your next appointment is September, blah, blah. And so, okay, that's what we did. They said she needed to fast. Our appointment wasn't until 1 o'clock, so she couldn't eat anything until 1. She was fine, but she was starving. And then we were there for 30 minutes. They finally called us back, and then the nurse said, I hate to say this, I really, really do. And I'm like, oh, you gotta be kidding me. So then we had to make the appointment, and she said the next time she needs to get a physical, it's coming up too, so we're gonna do it all at one time. And I went ahead and made an appointment, and as soon as we left, I told Paige, I said, I think we're gonna go to the doctor that we used to see where we used to live. It's the same practice, it's just she doesn't come out to where we live now. And so I'm gonna make an appointment for her. I want her to do the physical because she knows Paige, and then this other lady was new there. She'd only been there for a few, I think like maybe 2 months, and she got mad and quit. And I liked her. She seemed like she knew what she was doing, but I'm taking her to her other doctor. So we do have some doctor's appointments coming up for Paige, but she is enjoying her job once again. I'm so glad. And she had lunch with a couple of her co-workers last week, and she just talked and talked and talked about it. She was so excited that they included her. She was sitting down eating her lunch last Friday, and I guess it was time for a couple more people to have lunch. And so they could have sat down anywhere, and they saw Paige and sat down at a table with Paige. And Paige said they just talked to her, and they included her in their conversations. And so she felt really good when she came home because they paid attention to her. And that's all that it takes when you have a special needs kid, or if you have like special needs, or whatever. I think it means the world when people, they acknowledge you and not just completely ignore you and go to somebody else. And so that made her feel really good, made me feel good, because they acknowledged her, that she was also an employee. So she was extremely happy, and made for a really good weekend. My husband's doing really well. He had his inventory for all of the places that he monitors, it came back at 100%. So he was feeling really good. He is not nearly as stressed as he has been, which is really good. I was actually worried about him the first part of the year. The end of last year and the first part of this year, I was really starting to worry about him. But he is doing so much better. Thank goodness. I am really glad. It is going a lot easier with this new position. Well, it's not new anymore, but it's going a lot easier with this position that he's in. And I am so, so thankful because my dad, I think, was so stressed out. That's part of what caused his sudden passing. And he was still working, and he was almost 80. So and my husband's not even nearly there. But I thought, my dad had these triggers, and I didn't really see it. And then I could see it in my husband's. My husband had some heart issues when he was younger. And I told him, I don't want you to get to that place ever again where you had such heart issues, and I don't want to wake up and then have to do anything. I do not want to wake up to what my sister and my stepmother had to wake up to, and it's just, I want him to enjoy life and just not to be so stressed. I used to be that way, and I love my job because every once in a while, I get stressed. I get stressed from the overload and some of the governmental administrative things that has to be done. Who wouldn't? I do have a lot of students. I do work at two other schools part-time, or one other school part-time. And I just decided that I love what I do. That makes a big difference. I love what I do, and I try to stay ahead of schedule so I'm not really stressed. But it's hard, and it's really hard when you're on a time crunch like he has been on, and a new job that you're not trained on. You're just expected to know what you're doing. But I am glad that is slowing down a bit. And I think us moving here has helped immensely with my husband. The mountain air, it's quiet out here. There's not a whole lot that has to be done to our house. There's things that we want to do, and I keep thinking, is he going to do this? But he likes to do things around the house more so in the winter than the summer. He keeps up the yard. It's not the way that I would really like right now, but with us just moving here, there's a lot of yard work that's going to need to be done, but that's going to have to wait till next year in the spring. I think when it's not so hot, there's some things that need to be done. But other than that, everything has just been good. Cat's been doing great. And she is moaning again. I'm probably disturbing the poor baby. I have read 2 books this week, finished those. They were Book of the Month, which I love Book of the Month. I was going to cancel because I am way behind on my Book of the Month books, but I am enjoying that. And I do have a code if anybody's interested in Book of the Month, or if you want more information on it. And I listened to 2 audiobooks. I listened to one over the weekend, and it was like an 18-hour book. Now, I do listen to it at 1.5 times the speed. Sometimes I can get away with 2, but most of the time it just sounds weird. And so I do 1.5 times the speed so I can listen to it a lot faster. It did have some triggers, and I didn't really even look at when I was getting this. It came up and it said that it was recommended for me. I've had several people tell me that it was recommended. This is good, you would like it. It did have a few triggers at the beginning, but it wasn't severe. And because it didn't go into any detail. You knew what happened, you could imagine, which was horrible, but there is a part 2 that's coming up in, I think, March of next year, so I have that on my radar. The name of the book is We Are All Guilty Here. I cannot remember the name of the author. She and the narrator are both new to me, but I really like the narrator, so I went ahead and I got another book from the library on audio from the same author, and I started it yesterday. I used to absolutely hate audiobooks. I couldn't get through an audiobook for nothing, but it was because I was just trying to listen to an audiobook and just sit and not do anything else. But now that I am diamond painting and I love to read, I was starting to get a little antsy because I hadn't read very much in the past couple of years. And then I thought, well, I'm going to start with audio and see if I can do it. And it took me a while, but then I found a narrator that I liked, so then I went through a lot of books that she did. I love the In Death series, the J.D. Robb In Death, and I've been listening to those for a very long time. I'm on like book number 56, I think, but that's been over years. I've been reading them, and then I have listened to those. That's about the only ones I could handle listening to on audio. As far as watching TV, I haven't watched anything. I haven't watched the news. I haven't watched a show. I haven't watched a movie. I mean, literally nothing. I do have Wicked on my radar because my best friend and I are going to go and see Wicked 2. That's going to come in November, so I need to get that watched. But I haven't been in front of a TV in forever. Once it starts getting colder, then I will go back and watch some series, get caught up. That's what my husband and I always do. But until then, we're going to stay outside as much as possible. And then on the weekends, I've just been down in my craft room, or I have been working. Since I don't have an office anymore in the house, I use my craft room also as an office. And I've just been down there a lot. And then I've been really watching some videos, YouTube videos, but they are different podcasts and things like that. But really, no TV, nothing like series or anything. And I do want to get caught up on Virgin River because I did read all of those books by Robin Carr, and I need to get caught up on that. And I'll definitely get caught up this winter. So that's one thing. And then I know we need to finish up Yellowstone. We never finished. I know what happened, but which kind of stinks. But anyway, we will do that this winter too. But other than that, I really have not been interested in watching any TV. I have noticed on the retreat Facebook group that there are some that are already starting for new retreats. I'm sure I'm using the right. For new retreats for next year, there is one that's going to be in March in Gatlinburg, Tennessee, in the Smoky Mountains. I would love to go to that one. I love Gatlinburg, but I don't see myself going to that one, and I can only go to one a year. I'm not going to go to more than that. I am signed up for the one in Virginia. That one, I'm not sure about if I'm going to go. I am signed up. It's in July, so we'll see about that one. But I am registered, so I'm going to stay that way until I decide what I really want to do. There's another one that just came out. It is on Tybee Island in Georgia, which is outside of Savannah, Georgia. That one, they just opened up the Facebook group, and I found that one on the Georgia website. I am definitely interested in that one. It would be still going to be about 4 hours or so of a drive, but I can drive, I don't have to fly. And there may be some people from Georgia that would be interested in that one. They have not given out any information other than the date. It is for 4 days and it is in September. So September works better for me than March. March in Gatlinburg would be iffy, I think. It's also, they are going to be renting a cabin in Gatlinburg. So you would have to share rooms. It said 10 bedrooms. It's a huge cabin, but that would be bedroom share. And I've done that before. I don't want to do that again. I mean, I don't mind sharing a hotel room, but I'm not going to share a room where you have multiple beds, you have bunk beds. I'm not ever doing that again. That is not something that I am even going to consider. But I don't know what is going on in Tybee. I don't know if they're renting a house. That has not come out yet. So right now I am just in the interest phase. They have not done signups or anything, but I know that some of you live kind of convenient to Georgia. There's also a airport in Savannah. So if you were out of state, you wanted to fly, it wouldn't be that bad to come in, I don't think. So that's just, things I'm thinking about for next year. But I know that March is not, more than likely March will not work for me unless somebody that was in Georgia decided that they were going to go. I might consider it, but March is a little difficult because of work. But if it's just a few days, then that would be okay too. So if you guys are looking at any retreats for next year, let me know what you are looking at. I really did enjoy the Virginia retreat, but again, I have to deal with flying and deal with getting to the venue, which that's okay. I don't mind doing that. I thought that the hotel was really nice. I didn't have a problem with the hotel at all. There were some things that the more I think about, I'm just not sure. So, and I don't think that Kim from Kim's Craft, she may or may not go. I'm not sure, but I know that she's in school. So that makes it really hard to try to work and go to school and then try to have some fun too. So I know that's not easy. So let me know if you guys have any plans. As far as a channel for this week, I have an unboxing that I'm going to do. I am going to start on only one canvas for October, to add one canvas for October. And that's the one that I'm going to be unboxing. That's going to come out sometime this week. I am not sure. I keep going back and forth either on Thursday or on Saturday. I don't know which date or which day is the best or if it really matters. I like to kind of spread my videos out. And so if that's the case, it'd be better off to do it on Friday or over the weekend for my unboxing. So I'm really not sure yet, but I am going to have that one ready. I've got to get it up because I do want to start on it on October the 1st. It is for an event that I'm going to be participating in, and that is called Home is Where the Heart Is. And I know that One of the hosts is Sabrina, and that is from Bee's Crafty Corner. I love her products, which are the release papers. So I'm sorry, I do not know who the other two hosts are going to be with her. I'll put all that information underneath the description for you guys. So I do want to do that one. And I'm looking forward to the kit that I've chosen. I had several and I kept going back and forth, and then I finally decided. So I'll be unboxing that on the channel this week. And then next week will be my month in review, which seems like I just did one. With my month in review, I am also going to include all of my whips to show you guys how far I've gotten. Hopefully, with only adding one for next month, I will get some of the ones that's in my stash. I will finally be able to get some of those done. If not finished, at least get quite a bit of it done. And then in October, not sure what I'm going to do. I'm assuming that there will be for Diamond Art Studio UK. I'm assuming they will have their November purple post. And if they do, I have several diamond paintings I can choose from. I already know what I'm doing for December. I don't know exactly what diamond painting, but my Decembers pretty much look the same. Oh, and more popping. My Decembers pretty much look the same as several years ago. I try to keep my December the same way, where I'm going to have a Advent that I'm going to be working on, which I like to do every day. I'm not going to do daily videos again. I did that for 2 years and I had a really hard time doing that. It wasn't a hard time doing the videos as much as it was trying to figure out content, what to say. Now, I could do my Advent as a short, and I am thinking about doing that. So I could have a video every day by doing a short instead of doing long videos. And I haven't done shorts in a couple of years at least. So that's something I may think about. Those are fun and they're easier now than what they used to be to do, I think. I am going to call this good. I've gotten this whole section done. No idea how long I've been talking because I had to stop and do something for the girls. Madison called Paige because she couldn't get in touch with me. Also, let me know what you're working on. If you haven't subscribed, I would love to have you here with the friends and family at the Crafty Diamond. Also, click on that like button. Happy diamond painting. Bye.